Hello friends, it's Phil here, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to get started in NHL 23, be a pro, the strats that I use to get your overall up, to kind of make you play a little bit more competent, and basically to ensure that your character has a nice and good start to their career without kind of feeling too sluggish or slow. And there's a lot of good little hacks, mechanics, things that you can do. A lot of you might know what these are, but if you don't, I'm going to fill you in really quick.
Pricey pond hockey you got going there.
The first thing you're going to want to do is just pretty much the basics. Just put in your name, your position, your secondary position, even though in your first year they might not put you there, but that's a whole story for another time. And pick your commentary name. And we are going on 3 years without action in the game. James, Mr. Cebulski, I would like a word with you. Can we get that in the game, please? I'm begging you. Come on, please. You are going to want to build your player to their height, weight, their fight tendency. If your dude wants to kind of scrap it up, put some fist-to-faces, yeah, you're going to want to change that too. I'm not going to put too much work into this character just because it's a demo one. However, we are going to change the goal, Sally, and I have picked a pretty good one that I think you are going to enjoy. Take a look.
Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Next up, you're going to want to pick your class. There are a bunch of different classes to choose from. There's Sniper, Playmaker, Power Forward, Grinder, Two-Way, and Enforcer. Each has their pluses, their minuses, so pick one that you're going to want to play. They all have their own individual gold X factor as well. That's unique to them. Just do be aware, though, once you pick it, you cannot change it later. For this video's sake, I am going to pick Sniper. It's also what I usually play. Now, this is where part of the strategy comes in. There are 3 leagues you can start your career. You can start in the CHL, you can start in Europe, or go right to the NHL. You're going to want to start in Europe, and here comes the fun part. You're going to want to pick the worst team, and you're asking yourself, Phil, if I want the best start, why do I got to pick the worst team? Don't I want to win? The answer, no! You actually do not want to win. I'm going to pick up this one. That's a lot of consonants and lack of vowels. So yeah, whatever that one is. And with that out of the way, you are pretty much ready to go ahead and start your career. And now is where the fun begins. Don't worry, friends, there is a method to my madness when it comes to wanting to lose intentionally. And that is because when you're in the Champions League, if you look at your calendar, you will see that the Champions League kind of starts in November. We got 2 games back-to-back. We want to lose those as fast as possible. But look at all these months right here. There are so many months between November and when the NHL draft and the preseason starts. This is vital for one big reason, and that is training. Training is an absolutely vital thing in Be a Pro that you need to make sure that you're doing every week, specifically on Sunday, because you get free points that'll help level up your character. Now, the reason we do the Champions League is because you can get stats like speed, acceleration, up to almost 92, 93 if you do it consistently. But the reason that helps is because in Be a Pro, your character will fly on the ice with stats like that. If not, they're going to be a little bit slow. They're going to be a little bit sluggish. You might not be keeping up with NHL players. But if you boost your stats in training this year, specifically, I want to say 5 to 6 months, your character can get up to 90 and you will be zooming around the ice. Another good thing to constantly be checking on is if you go to weekly growth and scroll down to the bottom where there's that little Kachuka, that is skill trees. Skill tree early on, I like to put most of my training points into speed because, again, speed makes the world go round, and early on in your career, speed is going to be crucial to your success in the NHL. Later on, I like to use trait points to boost things like poise, aggressiveness, discipline, things that don't really increase as much in game. But for right now, I like to put all my things into speed or shooting, things that are going to help my character right now. Training menu is where the big part of the strategy comes into play. The training menu is also good as well because it gives you a kind of up-to-week indicator of where your stats are. Now, if you look at my stats right now, they are hot garbage, but I have 22 hours to play with, and the more hours you put into a specific category, the more it's going to increase. As you see right now, my stats for skating and acceleration are increasing immensely, and if you do this over time, your stats are going to grow a lot. I have so many months that I'm going to basically get all of these stats, and that's going to help your character by the NHL draft. It's going to be somewhere in the high 90s. But right now, you're going to want to do this week by week. It'll take you about 20 to 30 minutes, so put on a podcast and just kind of chill, but put all of your stat training points into power skating because it's going to help you immensely. If you have leftover stats, put them in sprints, or if you're sentiment, put them in face-offs. It doesn't really matter, or even put them in any other category that you like, but for the early part, put it into power skating. Really quick, be sure to not ignore the weekly performance. It provides you again with an up to week on where your stats are, so you can kind of focus on other categories if need be. Lucky for you, I've saved you the trouble of doing all that repeatedly for weeks, and we're up to the draft. So let's see where the action man Jack action goes. And we know it's definitely not going to be in the first round because we lost both of our games. We got a tie for one. Look at that. We have plummeted. Oh boy. Out of the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Oh my god. Hey! The Colorado Avalanche. Ooh, look at that. Nate Mack, Jack Action, Gabriel Landeskog, Mikko Rantanen. Now that we know we're going to light it up with the Avalanche, let's go to weekly growth. And there's a little thing that I want to show you. But first, look at some of these skills. And skating, 88 acceleration, 90 speed. We have to keep up with Nate Mack, and we have done just that. We have given Jack Action a chance to thrive in the NHL. But it's still not over yet. We're only in June. You still have until about midway through September to get your character all ready to rock and roll. Once you get to the middle of September and the preseason, training undergoes a little bit of a change. You will see that some of the categories that were 3, 4, 5, 6 have actually been nerfed and cut in half. For example, power skating that was 4 has been dropped down to 2. Weight training that was 6 has been dropped down to 3. However, still do these during the course of the season because you will still get a decent jump. I mean, 115 for weight training, that's still pretty competent, I must say. But make sure that every Sunday you are doing training even in the regular season. It's free points for stats that you might not be able to get during the game. And that's another thing about Be a Pro is that I try not to level up stats in training that I can get in-game. So shooting, passing, making plays, things like that. Those are all points you can accumulate by just playing the mode itself. This is mostly to help get your stats up there and little things that you might not be able to get. Like, I know acceleration and speed is a bit tougher in game. I'm not 100% sure if you can do it, but little things like trait points, little things like doing training every week are going to be beneficial. We're up to the first preseason game, and if you look at our overall now, it's a 72. We went from a 68 to a 72. That's a pretty good jump, man. 4 points is nothing to laugh about, but the good news is that our speed, our skating is going to be top-notch. Right now, we're going to be able to hang with NHL players, and we're going to be able to play our game, which in turn will help generate more points for our character in terms of shooting, passing, playmaking. We're going to get that in-game, but this video is mostly designed to just kind of get you up to speed NHL-wise with little tips that I use. So again, make sure you're using training, make sure you're using skill points, and you're going to have a good time. Anyway, if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know down below. I am always playing Be a Pro, so I know a little bit more stuff I can help you out with. Anyways, I'm Phil. I will see you in the next one. Stay classy.